What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more AFK Journey. Finally, you can still hear I'm a little under the weather. My wife ended up getting the sickness too. Literally went through the entire family, but now it's Monday. I think everything's back good to go, and today we're going to be going over something you might have already noticed but might not have just yet. So one thing that we do have is, of course, another round of battle drills here. However, there is a big difference in the team that you're going to be using. The main damage dealing team having to do with the Corn is going to be a little different because the giant golem is the boss this time around. The boss matters quite a bit here. Basically, this is going to be a boss that does this astral strike ability, deals high damage to all enemies, and knocks them down upon receiving the skill damage. Now, there is a way to get around taking that damage and having that knockdown effect happen, and that is going to be through shields. So there's going to be a couple heroes you want to make sure you have in your lineups. They are very, very important, and of course all of the golem's abilities do hit AoE. Now I'm going to show you guys some of our top hits here, basically because they are just the best of the best. You're going to notice this team is almost identical, like kind of to the usual team. However, there are two major differences here. One of them is you're going to be having Mikkel in instead of Cassidy, and you're going to be running Lucius instead of Smokey. Essentially is going to be the way you're going to be doing this lineup here. So I'll show you guys right at the beginning here. You can see, I hate how you can't really pause it, but you see this is basically the same exact core of the lineup. You're still feeding tons of energy with Rowan. You're having also spam her active ultimate ability. You're having Corn go crazy, and this time we are using the Tide Call spell. So make sure you're not using resonating on this one. You're going to want to use the Tide Call. Besides that, Mikkel is there for the attack buff and the healing, and then of course Lucius. You can see right here, everybody on the battlefield has that shield. That is the most important part of it. Now, that does mean you're going to have to retool some of your other teams, because as you guys can see, the one thing I really hate about this battle particularly is how far zoomed out you are. Essentially, I really don't like it. But it just kind of is what it is for the setup here. So we're going to make sure we get our team in. Again, this is one where you probably need to take Cassidy out of your main lineups, because this is going to be your team now. Cassidy's no longer going to be sitting in front of your Corn. And again, the one thing you need to change from the previous battle drill season is get rid of resonating spell and go to Tide Call. Let's see what type of damage our team can do, considering we have like what we got Paragon 1 on 3 of our heroes, so we're not like absolutely crazy. But the big important part here is having that Lucius on our team. If we have Lucius on our team, that means we're going to get tons of shields, and that means we're not going to get knocked down, we're not going to get interrupted, and we can continue to spam our abilities. Now this team right here definitely doubles down on the fact that we have the most powerful light bearer faction talent system as well. That is really, really important, and this is going to hopefully be a pretty solid hit. Now, one thing to remember with these light bearer teams, there is a lot of RNG that goes into the damage of them. You can literally do like 50% extra damage on some of your attempts. It all comes towards the end here, and you can see for us, we got to 146. That's actually pretty respectable considering the power level of our account. So 146 solid. All the damage coming from the Corn, and everybody else is here just to buff them up. So not too bad. And in this situation, the Mikkel is the better option because she also gives haste, I believe, or is it, I can't remember which one it is. I believe she also gives, where is it? Is up here. I actually forget what she gives. She gives increased vitality, which isn't like the biggest of deals. Oh, I can't actually remember. I think she gives haste as well. Yeah, there we go. On her active skill, she gives haste as well, which is something Smokey doesn't do, which is what makes her a little bit better. And you're also still going to get that 3-2 faction bonus. So 146, very respectable hit. And honestly, I think, yeah, the second best. Surprise. Now, after this is where I have been sick this weekend, so I have not set up my teams properly. Getting your other heroes set up right is going to be a little tricky, because you can see here we don't have any other shielders. So if I do my attacks today, sadly they're going to be a little bit of a letdown. I'm still going to have to do it, but let me see if I can find some of the other attacks others have done here. I think most everybody in the top of the list here probably used pretty much this same exact team, and it's not even close on this one. Like, the second best team is much further down than it has been in previous ones. You can see all the way here, even down to the 50s. We're still running the same squad. I think I've seen one Vala style team being used in my guild particularly, but you can see there's a lot of hits that are lower. Yeah, I've seen this team as well, which again, there are no shielders. And by having no shielders on your team, this is going to be a huge downfall, in my opinion. Swapping some of these heroes out that we've used in the other lineups are going to be beneficial if you can get some shielders on your squad. The only other one that really comes to mind that can really do anything in this battle, which normally we do have in, is going to be Coco. If you have her at Mythic Plus, that fluffy shield, giving the shield after the damage reduction is over can help. It's not as good because remember when Crystal Beetle came out, the Primal Lord, everybody started with her and they were like, well, actually Lucius does a better job. Granted, that was in the previous season where Lucius had a better season ability, but that's one thing we actually are kind of lacking in the game, and I'm kind of hoping we get more of coming up pretty soon, is more support heroes or even like tank heroes that help support and shield your team, because besides that, there's really nothing else. I think maybe like you could use like an Entendre, but that's not for your whole team. There's really nobody else that's going to fill that role. So just please keep that in mind, because if you still need to get your more traditional teams in here for some attacks, I'll show you guys right here what a difference this is going to make. It's going to be night and day how much damage difference this is, like throwing this team in that we previously might not have used. And I feel like this is probably the best option here. The damage is going to be significantly less. Because again, you see how he knocks them all down. That's all time that they're not going to be doing anything. And especially if you're trying to bank on a strong Taylene team, that's really bad, because he's going to knock her down, he's going to interrupt her, and then she has to get all the way back up to full energy before she can do anything again. And these damage numbers are going to be extremely low, in the 10 to 20 or even lower damage range. So please keep that in mind. It is not very good. Now, one team that can still be good is the more traditional team here. However, again, we don't have a support hero that we can plug in easily to keep them alive and going, which is a big downfall. You can see here, we'll show you guys just the damage. We got to take Brian out. We got to take a couple of these key heroes out and get some shielders in here. Otherwise, without shields on this boss, your damage is going to be extremely low. So in my situation here, I want to show you guys the same thing that I'm going to be doing. There's a couple heroes that I feel like this time are not going to be needed, and a couple that definitely are. Throwing someone in like Coco is definitely going to be a stronger team. And then the energy team with Taylene, I think, is going to be absolutely garbage, to be honest. I think going to a more light bearer focused team is going to be the better play. We got to figure out what teams are going to work out best in this situation now that we have new heroes. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Hopefully it helps you guys build your team more properly. Lucius, definitely a thumbs up, must build hero if you care about bossing. I'll see you guys next time.